podcast. I'm Tara.
And I'm Misty.
And we are happy to have you here with us.
Yes.
I don't remember what I normally say at the beginning.
I know, it's been too long. We were
Exactly.
snowed in last week, and so we didn't get to record.
So it's been 3 weeks since our last recording, and we just spent like an hour catching up with each other because we've been snowed in and away from civilization for
I didn't leave the house literally until yesterday for a week. Yeah, all week long I was at home, so.
Yeah, we needed to talk to adults.
So,
Adventures in Stashing. Have you gotten anything last week?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't, surprisingly.
Well, I went to Nashville with my mom and gave her my finished object that I don't have to show you guys, which is Isabel, but you've seen it for months now. You know what it looks like.
So the pictures looked great. If you haven't seen them, go check out Tara on Instagram and check out those pictures.
It's Tara Spiger, and there are pictures of my mom wearing it in the yarn shop. And the yarn shop we went to, I never remember if it's Yarn House or House of Yarn, but it's house like the German way, H-A-U-S.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in Nashville. It's like just to the left of Nashville, to the west, in the south a little bit. And we tried to find it before, but it was closed on like a Monday. So check their hours. They're awesome. There's 3 giant rooms of yarn, and I completely forgot to get a video because I was there with my mom, and she was being weird, like trying to take pictures of me everywhere. Like as soon as we walked in, she's like, snap, 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 snap. And so I did not feel like taking out my video camera and like shooting a little tour. But they have, oh my goodness, like just tons of yarn and tons of brands of small makers.
Oh, that's like, awesome.
Tons of it.
That would be my dream if I had a yarn shop, to be all, you know, not all, you can't do all, but like a lot of indie dyers.
Yeah, and there were a lot of indie dyers and like even farms, and not just from Asheville, but from all over. So there was, like, my head, I was trying to like remember it all so I could tell you. I can't even tell you.
I know, I was wondering if there was any names that you recognized.
Not from like our friends on Instagram, and but there was like Jill Draper Makes Stuff, and there was another one, and it was just like a guy's name, but they were beautiful colors, and then there was Noro, and then there was Koigu, which is like kind of hard to find. You don't see that as much anymore. And but then just tons of handmade yarn, and I actually think that they post a lot of it on their website. So House of Yarn or Yarn House, one or the other, in Nashville. If you're in Nashville, you should definitely go. It was just so awesome. And I actually bought one thing. I bought a pattern, which I have showed. This is Boxy by Joji.
Yeah.
And I had showed you this pattern, and I was like, I don't know, should I wear it? And we had decided maybe not, because it's so big, and I don't like to wear overly big things because they make me look bigger. But they had a sample.
Oh, did they? That's
so
awesome.
I tried it on, and I was wearing a tank top and a sweater, and then of course my coat. So I took off my coat and I put this sweater on over my sweater, and it still looked great.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it hung awesomely, and that was a small, and I think I would probably make a medium. So it's just a giant square.
I saw Just Run Knit, I think, made it.
Who did?
Just Run Knit.
Okay.
From the Stalking It Zombies podcast.
Oh, okay, right.
And she's tiny though, and she looks super cute in it.
Yeah, and that's
she's tiny.
So when I saw the thing there, I was like, you know, Mom, I've been thinking about this one. She's like, oh, you should totally wear it. It looked awesome on the the little model there, and I was like, yeah, but everybody who's made it looks awesome. They're tiny, and I don't know if it will look awesome on me. So she was like, you should try it on. I was like, I'm not gonna take it off the mannequin. And then the lady, the thing had convinced me. I've been thinking about the pattern for so long, and what I usually buy patterns on Ravelry, but the problem then is that I have to have my iPad. I don't print them out. I just use them on my iPad, and then your iPad dies, or like you're at a movie theater, you don't want to light it up.
Yeah.
So I thought if I'm going to buy it, I want to buy it where someone else has printed it. I don't know if you guys can see this.
That
like
looks really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I can like make notes on it, and it's so funny because I don't ever print anything. Like I don't want printed things around my house, but something like this so that I can like travel with it.
It's handy every now and then to have that, because I'm the same way. I do my patterns on my iPad, and I love that, but sometimes it's just like you really don't want to have to pull that out, or the kids have it, or something's going on to where it's just not convenient. Hey, I just remembered that we didn't get our mics out. So I'll try to talk loudly.
You know, and I left my mic at home. I took it home to record a podcast.
There you go. So
yeah, hopefully you guys can hear us. Okay, we can lean in.
Yes.
You can leave a comment and tell us
yes,
about.
Tell me if I don't talk loud enough because I'm really bad to like.
You're a low talker.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Seinfeld episode where there's a low talker and like no one
Yeah.
all throughout the episode nobody knows what she says because she says like this.
Yeah.
And
it's funny though because if I get excited about something, Matt's like, "You need to tone it down. You're talking really loud." And so it's funny that I don't talk loud enough on the podcast.
I think it's just in comparison with me. I think people have to turn it down because I'm loud, and then they're like, "I can't hear Misty," so we need to like modulate our.
Yeah.
Yes. So. I got boxy. I'm excited. I don't know what yarn I'm going to knit it in yet, but actually I was looking at January Yarns, who's been active in our Ravelry group.
Yes. Thank you, January Yarns.
Yes. And I was just talking about her shop with her, and she has some really beautiful colors and a gorgeous merino fingering weight. And I was like, and she does dyed to order. So she has some yarns that are available, but then she will make as many skeins as you want in any color. And I know a lot of people do that, but she set up her shop so it's really easy to find and buy. And so
I need to start playing with that because I've just kind of played with my yarns and did a lot of different colors, but I need to go back and make sure that I can repeat it before I offer that.
Yeah. And
because I've made notes, but then it's like, can you really do that off your notes that you've kind of scribbled down while you're doing
well, and that's the thing is that she has, you know, the colorways she knows she can repeat and has decided on them. And this is over at least a year of doing this.
I'm like a newbie. I'm sure she's been, you know, doing
but she does the kind of yarn that's like light glazed layers of a lot of colors. So there's no flashing or pooling or it's not multicolor.
Yeah, I tried that. You probably haven't seen it yet, but I've tried that kind of just a little bit here, a little bit there, and just played around and I had fun.
And I think that's yarn I'm gonna have to get for this sweater though, is a yarn that will not pull up anywhere but isn't completely solid. Like I kind of think it would be boring to do it in a completely solid fingering weight. So that's my new pattern. I love it. I had to buy something at Yarn House because it was just so awesome. Like, and that's why I decided on it. And I tried it on, and it fit. Like it hung right, and that was my big concern. Is like, am I gonna look like a potato sack?
Exactly.
And it didn't. It was because of the lightweightness of the fabric, and the fingering weight. It just.
Did you see what yarn they had done it in? Was it merino that they had done it in?
I think so, and I think it was. It kind of reminded me of Madeline Tosh. It kind of reminded me of this yarn actually. This gray. It was this color.
Was it a single?
Color. Yeah, it was. It was. And I don't think I would do mine in a single because I don't want it to fuzz up. And my featherweight is in the Malabrigo single. And I want, so I think I'll do it in like a sock yarn like this that has lots of plies.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't decide if this was I didn't look close enough. Yeah, I can see now.
They're both fingering weight. This one is a single and then this one is plied. And I like how it holds up better. But so we have lots of finished projects.
Yes.
So do you want to share one of yours?
Yes. I'll talk about one of mine first. I don't have it with me. It was a birthday gift for Keith, who is, well, it's my mom's ex-husband, but we still call him our stepdad because he's still family, and I work for him too. He's an independent insurance adjuster, and so I type all his reports and all that. And he is knitworthy, and so he loves it. He always asks me to make him stuff, and he always loves it when I do, even when it's like he's not too sure about, you know, the look of it. He still loves it, and so yeah, it's great. And so I made him these chunky mittens. I don't think I have. This is the yarn base, but I don't have the color with me. It was out of this kind of chunky, thick yarn, and I kind of didn't find a pattern exactly, so I mostly made it up as I went and had my husband try it on as I went. And so he, the only thing I really didn't like about it when it was all said and done is the fingers kind of looked, it kind of like chopped and then, you know, triangular on the top. But I was like, you know what? He's not going to care about that. It looks fine when you put it on, and it was totally okay. And one of the features, and I did put this in my Ravelry page, the pictures of him having it on, and he's kind of like this, is he wanted a hole for his thumb and his index finger. And so I did, I cast off a couple little stitches, and then the next year I cast a couple back on, and just made a little hole so that he could stick his finger out and
nice.
text or whatever. And I did the same on the thumb because I wasn't sure if it would be, but I did. It worked out fine, and he loved it, and he thought it was great. He's like, that doesn't look right, but I still love it. He's like, something about that just seems wrong, but I love it. So it was funny.
So speaking of mitten tops, so my finished project, other than Isabel, is I finished my mitts. These are classic mitts. I talked about them last week, and we'll link to them in the show notes. The pattern is just on like vintageknittingpatterns.com, I think. But so I don't know, the ends got wonky. You see how pointed that one is? That's weird. So there's striped Noro and like just a Knit Picks merino. It's just what I had in my closet. But I finished them right before the big snow, and I was so happy to have mittens. And you can see, obviously, I just kept going with the ball, so they don't match.
I like that.
I like them too. And actually, I took out it started to get real purple, and I don't like purple.
I don't either.
So I took out purple, but there's like some weird muddy colors in there, but I like them. I like them so much. And this is all like pinks and reds and oranges, and then this one got like weird and yellow, and it starts with orange, but it was a weird skein of Noro I had kept forever and tried like 4 different projects in, but then it would get to a weird color and I wouldn't like it. So this, I just needed mittens. That's all that mattered. And I wish both tops looked like this one, but this one got weird and pointy. And I guess I could go back and fix it, but I don't care. And I left my thumbs out because that's what I use on my phone. But I have to tell you, like, it's really hard to hold your phone with just mittens. So I'm like gripping it. Yeah, but I finished something. I'm so excited. I have something to show. I feel like it's been months and months since I finished anything.
So here's the thing I do have to show. I am going to a little baby shower this week, and I made this little hat and some mitts. And this is Petals and Plumes hat. And I haven't blocked it yet. You can kind of tell. But, and then it has this little rolled brim, and it has a little almost kind of feather and fan type stitch around the edge. And I dyed this yarn, and for whatever reason I didn't like it, and I like it better now that it's knit up, but I still have my moments where I'll look at it, I'm like, no, and then I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
It's
beautiful. So it's I don't know if you can really tell, but it does get lighter, like a cream light pink, and then it, you know, darker, so it's kind of tonal, I guess is a good way to say it, but it's not, you know, drastic, but it's pretty, and so I hope she likes it. And then I made these little plain mittens to match, little scratch mitts, and so I like making this kind of stuff to where I'm hoping that they'll wear it in the hospital or soon after, or to the church for the first time. You know, those special little things that need to be special, you know, because with babies and knitwear, it's like you're not gonna, I don't feel like that once you get them home and get them in those jumpers, you're not really gonna make the effort to, unless you're going out somewhere. And once you come home with a baby, especially, you know, that first little bit, you're not gonna go out anywhere. And so I you know, it's like, what do you make? And so I try to make something that's like special that they'll wear, you know, on their outings or from home from the hospital or something. So yeah,
it's so sweet. I love it.
I hope she loves it. I thought about making socks, but I just couldn't want it.
So is that it for your finished projects?
That's it for my finished objects.
Okay, you always have so many each week. It's...
Nice. This one's almost.
Yeah, well, show us.
So close. It will be next week.
This is the orchid.
This is the orchid cowl. And it has this lovely little lace pattern that's super easy. And then it has these stockinette stripes, I guess you could call them. And then it goes to lace. And the neat thing about it is, I don't know if you can tell, but it starts out and you do a bigger patch of repeats on the lace, and then you do this same, you know, the thing with the garter and the stockinette, and then you do a smaller amount of lace, and then the same, and then a smaller amount of lace, and then the same, and I'm almost done. You can tell I've got 2 of these little garter sections done. Once I hit that 3rd one, and then another stockinette, I'm done. And awesome. So then I'm going to block it, I think, before I link it together, but I'll graft it, and so it'll loop. Once I block it out, I believe it'll comfortably loop double. That's awesome. But this yarn is the January yarns.
No, Yarn Love.
I'm sorry, the Yarn Love. We've talked about January yarns, and that's what made me say that. But no, this is Yarn Love. And here is the...
And Katie sent us this yarn because she's awesome. We talked about it when we first got it, I think.
And
what's in it?
Focus.
Bamboo...
Yep, sorry, it's not
Merino?
focus. 65% superfine merino, 20% bamboo, and 15% silk. And so there was two 50-gram skeins, and I'm going to have some left over. I haven't looked at it.
Oh, yeah.
But this was the second 50-gram skein, and like I said, I'm close to being done, so I'm going to have some left over. So if you've got a skein, a whole skein of sock yarn, it'll take a little less than that.
Like a 100-gram skein.
Yeah, 100-gram skein, it would take a little less than a whole skein.
It's so pretty. I'm so glad you're knitting with it, too.
Yeah, me too. I love the color. It was the same color that's on the pattern, and I wanted to find something to do with this, but I just wasn't sure, and this is turning out to be really the perfect project for this.
It is really beautiful.
I'm about to lose a stitch, okay.
Yeah, put it back on there.
So
what I'm working on is the blue sand cardigan that I started. I went back and I looked. It was like September, October when we both started knitting those. Missy, of course, has finished hers because I stopped to knit my mom's sweater. But I am on the bottom. I'm on the bottom.
This is so pretty.
Bottom. I'm so excited. So those are the pocket holes right there. Let's see this right side up. Shove my needles a little further. So it's got the pink stripe at the top, and you see the sleeves. It's top down, so the sleeves are on. Waist yarn holding, and then it goes down, stripe, 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 and then pockets, and then the bottom. So here's the thing, I am not following the pattern at this point because you will notice this is a garter stitch bottom, and Misty's and the pattern calls for a kind of waffly stitch pattern.
If you want to, it's just right there.
And while it's beautiful, what I noticed, and I started noticing this once I looked at the project pages, so this is what it calls for, right? A textury, almost ribbing thing, is it pulls in.
It does.
And it's supposed to. I think like that's the how the thing is made, is to pull in. But I don't want mine to pull in around my butt. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah, it's a baggy cardigan, and so it does give it this kind of shape to it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell when you look at people's projects until you start looking for it, and then you realize if they've taken a picture with it holding totally down and they're not holding it out or holding it around them, it just like a little bit cuts in, and I don't like that in a sweater. So I'm doing garter stitch because I love garter stitch on anything. Like I love it. It would be the border I'd put on everything, and that'll keep it from, it won't pull in at all. In fact, it'll just hang. And then the other thing I'm going to change is around, you knit, you pick up stitches and you knit the button band, and it calls for this 1x1 rib, and that also then pulls the sweater up in the front a little bit, so I'm going to do garter stitch there as well. And because I love garter stitch. I love everything garter stitch. I love borders, and I don't like to have my sweater pulled in at the front, like pulled together the way that a 1x1 rib will. It's an awesome, awesome pattern, and I love it. It's just, as I've been working on it, I always do this though. I always change things. Like, see, everything I've ever knit, I've changed.
I'm not, unless it's a small project like mittens or something like that, I'm not real bad to change stuff because I'm just intimidated by sweaters. I don't want, it's such a big project. I wouldn't know that I've screwed up on it until, this is how I felt previously. Now I'm getting,
more bold
and more experienced, and I feel like that I can change things and be okay with it. And plus, I took that Make Wear Love knit to flatter class on Craftsy, and so yeah, if I would have taken that before and had the time, because I was rushed with this, I probably would have.
You got it done by Christmas.
I got it done by Christmas and started on my birthday at the end of September.
Oh, that must be when I started mine too.
That's a lot of knitting though.
It's so beautiful.
And you know, when you have other stuff going on, but yeah, I would have changed a lot about it.
I love it. But the other thing to keep in mind is that this pattern, you knit yours in sport weight and mine is in fingering weight.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the solidness.
Mine's not in sport weight. It was DK. And when I did dye this yarn, but it was listed when I purchased it undyed as DK. And I really feel like it might as well just be worsted, because I don't really understand the whole thing about DK, because the yardage is so close anyway. It's only like, what, 20 yards off of a worsted? It's like, why does it really make that big a difference, you know?
Yeah.
And like with fingering, you can be a little bit off with fingering and nobody
Well, and because the weight is
change
also
it.
determined by how tightly it's spun, like the weight / yardage differential is often like just by the fibers, you know, because some fibers are lighter than others, and also how tightly it's spun. So like
you have to hold this one.
Marina will, I know, but I love it. But what I'm saying is that
if you've looked, it's probably peeled. I know I'm probably already
no, I don't think they can see that.
The sweater shaver to it. I
but
wear it so much.
I think that waffle knit pattern like holds really nice and stiff in that, and I'm afraid that in my fingering weight it would be too floppy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So like, so that's part of the changes. Is like I love your sweater, but because it's fingering weight, I have to make some changes so that it does the right thing. You know, and also I took, and I think I talked about this when I did it, but I did some decreases at the waist and then some increases, whereas the pattern calls for it just to get progressively bigger right from under your underarms. But it's a whole potato sack factor. Like I know that I need something to go in at the waist.
Since I've took that knit to flatter class, I've looked back on this. I've only made 3 cardigans that I wear, including this one. So I've looked back on the other 2, and one is, I don't remember what they called it was the watercourse cardigan, and I don't remember what they called the shoulders, but it wasn't set-in sleeves. It was probably a raglan or something like that. I really don't know the terms enough to tell you, but and it has a hood on it, and it kind of almost falls off. It's like, you know, lazily sits there. And so it's just not my favorite. I've not wore it that much, and it's baggy, and there's just something about it, just unconsciously when I wear it, that it's not my favorite. And the other one I made, I wished I'd used different yarn. I used black yarn thinking, black will go with everything. But it really hides the really pretty edging that it has on it.
And that sweater's awesome.
It's awesome. It has set-in sleeves. And they talk about the difference in set-in sleeves, that it gives your sweater some more structure. And wearing that, I can really feel that. And I really like that about it. And also I added, there's one thing that I did change on that, and it was one of the first cardigans. It was the first cardigan I knit. I knit a pullover that was pretty simple that I really hated. It looked really odd, and I ended up giving it to my cousin. But I knit, this was the first cardigan, and I knit a little patch of like ribbing or something right in the small of your back so that it gives it a little shaping, because I didn't know enough to do kind of the,
but it looks awesome.
It looks awesome on, and it's one of those that when it sits like gaping just a little, and I could pull it close if I wanted to, but it naturally, you know, gapes, but it has this sawtooth edge to it, so it just fits, and that makes a really big difference, because there's days when I'm like, oh my gosh, I need an extra large, you know, whatever it is, extra large. But, you know, they talk about in that class, don't do that to yourself. You know, knit what fits, and they guarantee that you will look better wearing something that fits than a tent, you know, that you feel like, you know.
Absolutely.
So, and it's so true. I mean, you do look, and so that's the only thing I regret about this sweater, is that I wished I had made it to fit better. Even though that was the plan of the sweater, was to be baggy, I think it would have done better for me, you know, if I would have, but I'm wearing it anyway. I love it. I wear it on my house all the time.
And it's the combination of the thickness of the yarn versus the like fingering weight yarn, because if it's thicker, it's going to be more structured. Like it's going to be more whatever it is. It's not going to like flow as much as fingering weight does. So you then decide like how much you want it to be, where exactly you want it to be structured. And I think that black one, because it's worsted weight, it like that section like just makes the whole thing more structured. With fingering weight, there's a little more give because it's gonna flow on you. Because like the one I made my mom, I think I did decrease a little bit on the waist, but then it goes out, but it flows and it lays, and it just like all pools nicely. So it doesn't have that like stiff, I'm wearing a stiff tent feeling. But that one got really big around the waist. I don't even think this one gets as big. I mean, not around the waist, around the bottom edge. You know, it's like there's a lot of extra room in it. But it looks cute, and it hangs well. And that's always my thing about like boxy. The reason I'm going to do this one is because yes, it doesn't have any shape, but in a fingering weight yarn, when you wear it, it does shape to you. But if you did this, like, and they have a worsted weight version, but if you didn't worsted or chunky, it would just be
it
like...
wouldn't be the same.
It would just... You'd have to knit it at much bigger gauge. But what else are you working on?
I am working on... Let me see what this is called, because I've already forgot. This is, I call it normal, and it's because it reminds me of the cat from Garfield. But it's normalitude or something like that. And let me see.
It does look like normal. Okay.
That's why I named it, but the whole name is something else. And so here.
We'll link to it in our show notes. Go to handmadepodcast.com and you'll find the link to it.
But it starts out in garter like this, and normally I'm not a huge... solid garter fan. I like garter okay, but I don't like all garter. But this is kind of broken up with a lovely little lace panel right here. Pretty. And then you go, as you can see, you go to another garter section, and then it does another little lace panel. And I want to say it does it a third time, but I can't swear to that. But I think it does. And on the last time, you'll bind off on that edge, and it'll end one edge with a little zigzag edging.
Oh, cool.
And so this will be, let's see, this right here will be my one edge, and then the other, and I've messed up somehow.
Is this like, what goes around your neck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this is the top.
Yeah, that's the top. And that's the garter side of the lace. But it's really pretty, and I think I'm going to give this to my mom because I'm discovering that even though I love this red color, I dyed this myself. This is the base that has a little bit of cashmere in it. So
do you have a name for that base? No, okay.
Yes, I do, but I have forgotten it. I'm not used to calling them by their names yet, and so I want to say I called it Elsie or something like that.
It's beautiful and so soft, so smooshy. So
soft. Do you think, oh, it's just 10% cashmere, it won't make a difference? Oh, yeah, it does. And but yeah, I really, really love this yarn, and I can't wait to knit something for myself out of it. But she loves red, and so I think I'm going to gift this to her for like Mother's Day or something.
Awesome. Did you just start knitting it just because you wanted to?
Yes, I must have increased where I was supposed to. Can you see this? I must have increased where I was supposed to decrease, because you do like increase on one edge and then decrease on the other, and I must have... got mixed.
Nobody would notice
that right out.
Yeah. I don't know about blocking it.
We're gonna pick at it a little bit anyway.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah.
So you have another thing you're working on, another cowl.
I have one more cowl. This one I had knit up this really cute polka dot cowl, and I did one of those yarn over knit two together, and where it makes, if you fold it in half, it makes like the little picot edge, and turned it, and on the inside it was striped. Well, it was too thick, it wasn't laying right, I didn't like it, and so I ripped it all out. And the yarn,
you even showed that.
I probably did show that. The yarn was Noro and
something.
Alpaca? No, this is I don't remember what this is. This is from the local yarn shop. It may be Cascade. And
this is the Noro.
The Noro. Garden? Yeah, and it's so pretty. It's I had two skeins here, trade me. And like the skeins went from this, you can see the pink and the green in the skeins, and it went to this fall colors. And while I love the fall colors, I was like, oh, that could be like a whole nother project. So I stopped the skeins.
So now they're just like pink and teal and green.
And so I'm hoping to make a second project of some sort out of this, because I love those colors. Yeah. But I wasn't crazy about them all together. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
So what are you doing with this?
This is called the Netty Cowl, and
it's really small.
You knit it in a tube and then join it.
Oh, okay. So that's not going to go around your neck.
No.
Okay, good.
And so I wasn't really crazy about knitting it in a tube, but I really wanted those polka dots, and I couldn't find anything else. And so you can see it's starting the little polka dots. And so yeah, I did not, the only changes so far that I've made is I didn't cast on as many. I think I cast on 70 stitches because I wanted it to make sure I had enough to have it longer instead of wider. I preferred that look, but we'll see how it goes. I've been really trying hard to knit loose and to carry some of my floats in the back every couple stitches, and hopefully they won't show through because that's an annoyance of mine too.
Well, but, and you know, one of the ways to make sure your floats are loose is to like stretch out.
Yeah, I've been trying to do every trick I can to kind of like.
They seem super loose, like there's no pulling. It's so hard to tell when you first start a project.
It is. You know? It is. It's hard to tell, but I really feel like I did a good job in being loose, and so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I like it.
Because the Noro doesn't have, you know, any give like this yarn does. This yarn's a little more.
Because the Noro is like silk and wool,
yeah,
right? And silk has no elasticity.
Yeah. So we'll see, but
I like it.
I'm gonna decide now. I'm going to love it because
you're not gonna reknit it.
No, this is done. And this was gifted to me by my friend Jen for my birthday like 2 years ago.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it needs to be something.
So my other work in progress is the Brandy Cherries pullover from Baby Cocktails. Oh, and you can see how different the grays look depending on the light.
Yeah.
Look at those cables. You get to see the cables too.
Oh, wow. I love this gray though. It almost looks like it has a plum to it. Just
my mom
so slightly.
Saw the picture and was like, you can also see all the dog hair. My mom saw the picture and was like, is that purple? Because I am against purple in all forms. And I was like, this is definitely not purple. It's gray.
No, it's gray. But
don't even tell me it has purple in it. So it's a Lonesome Highway.
It is beautiful.
Is the colorway in Plucky Knitter Cozy, and this is wool and camel. That's that squishiness.
Ooh.
And so this, you know, when we were talking about yarn weights and like sport and worsted, this is a yarn I think they have listed as like a DK, but it can knit as a worsted because it's so smooshy. Like it's so
it's very squishy.
It's got lots of like, you can knit it loosely and it'll be like a heavy worsted, or you can knit it really tight and it'll be, you know, smaller than that. So these, I think I'm knitting it on size 7s. It'll say on my Ravelry page. I just realized these needles say it right here.
Yes, but you have to have some really good eyesight
7
to get in there to see that.
Big strong glasses. So I love it. I started it just like a week ago, and it's so easy. I've already got I don't even need the chart.
Oh, that's
awesome.
Going. Oh, yeah. I don't know that I could do that though.
Oh, and I have like a few tiny mistakes, but I bet you guys can't even spot them. And I love it. And this is the front, and the back has basically just this twisted stitch that you see on the side here.
Oh, so it's a pullover.
Oh yeah, it's a pullover.
Oh wow.
This is the front, and the sleeves. There's not another section that is this heavily, densely cabled, but I've got just a couple more inches to go before the armholes, and it's a big, it's another big kind of loose sweater that is kind of like shorter instead of like really, really long pullover, so that it doesn't get too bulky and weird, and I love it so much. So it's by Thea Coleman of Baby Cocktails, and I love it. It's going so fast. Like I can't even believe it. But this is my knitting in daylight knitting, which because we've had so many snow days, I've actually had daylight knitting. Whereas this, because it's just garter stitch, is my knitting when it's too dark. Because like if I try to knit this when it is dark at all in the room, even with my living room light on, it's not. I have to have like an overhead light directly above me to see what I'm doing because the yarn is so dark. And see, my cat got a hold of it and pulled that little bit. Aww. Isn't that annoying?
Well, you can see like a little bit of fluff. Behind.
Yeah, well, and I think I'm just going to clip it because it's just it's just like one of the 2 or 3 plies in this yarn. But I love it so much. It's so pretty. I love cables too. I love to cable.
I want to do one for Rhinebeck.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's my hope is that I have this. I don't even know if I can have it finished by Marilyn Sheep and Wool. And that's May. This might be too warm for May.
Yeah.
What I really want is to wear this sweater like now.
Yeah, now.
I went out today and I need the sweater. But I'll have it for next winter. That's what I keep telling myself. Yeah. And so it's
that can be your Rhinebeck.
Yeah. It's knit.
It's cold enough.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This year I think it was pretty hot. But it's knit in it's knit in pieces. So I have to seam it up. And I don't ever seam things up.
That black one was seamed. You can do it.
Well, I mean, and I did when I very first started knitting. I knit a lot of sweaters and pieces, and I just hate my seams. So I might bring it over here and have you like do it with, because I'm just not a detail person. So like I just halfway through get sick of it, and then it's messy, and then I hate myself. So
yeah, I've ripped out a seam before just because it's like something going good or it's not matching up or something's
and
wrong.
Like lots of people have posted, oh, it's so easy to seam because you knit the first stitch, you don't just like do a slip stitch. So it's every stitch is knit, and it's giving you this nice row of bumps that you just join up to the back. But
that's good.
Yeah, we'll see. I almost translated it to be in the round, but then I thought because it's so heavy and cabled, it needs structure.
That structure, yeah.
Yeah. So the sleeves I'm definitely gonna do in the round though, and then seam them in. But yes, so your last work in progress.
I totally screwed up.
Hold it up so they can
this
see.
is the half-finished sock. This is my giant man sock for my husband.
And we showed this.
And we showed this.
Yeah.
And it has you can kind of see it on there, the double gusset, the two little V's right there.
I love that so much.
And so I go to turn the heel on this one, and I read the directions a good couple times. I mean, I think somewhere in my mind, I'm like, are you sure this is right? Are you sure this? So I read over them. I'm like, yeah, the markers are in the right place. And so I'm chugging
And you had already done it once.
I'd already done it once, but I don't know if I was just over it, ready to be done, or just not thinking, or thought for sure, okay, I've read it a couple of times, you're really following the directions right. But this is like the first heel flap I've done. I've done only a few pair of socks, and I've done different heels with each one. And so, yeah, instead of decreasing on the bottom like you're supposed to, I decreased on the side. And I'm guessing that this is more of a traditional gusset.
Okay.
I don't know. But, yeah, I don't even know.
Well, so in a traditional gusset, so you decreased on the side but bottom. Like in a traditional gusset, you decrease along this line.
Okay, well.
So this is fine.
Yeah, and
it
he's
works.
like, it works. I got back down to the same number of stitches that I had before. So yeah, sure, it works.
Well,
but,
wait. So let me compare the difference. So in this one, you decreased where?
Right here, in between, like when you do see the little heel triangle right here, it decreased in between these.
I don't even see the difference. I mean,
I
this
decreased
one
down the side instead of like right here. I was supposed to decrease. I was supposed to decrease right here.
And this is the bottom of the sock we're looking at.
Yeah, this is the bottom of the sock. Here's the heel. And I have these stitches, and you put markers right here, and here's the raw heel flap right here that you're supposed to, pick up and knit. So I decreased going down this side instead of in between these two stitches.
So you can see here they're decreased like these V's, and there it's decreased.
Yeah.
Kind of that's still the bottom of your foot.
Yeah.
Whereas and a most it would be decreased here at the top of the flap. This would be your line of decreases.
My husband
as opposed
totally
to down
didn't
here.
care, so he's like,
He
whatever.
The thought of Matt caring about where the decreases are is hilarious.
Now me, I'll be like, I'll totally be able to feel that. I'll have to rip it back out. If it was my sock, it would have been ripped back out.
I keep holding this up because this color is amazing. Like I think the lighting was weird last time, but there were like reds and purples and pinks. Can you look at us? How beautiful. I love it so much. Oh, yeah.
I need to do this color again. It was a really great color.
It is just beautiful. So beautiful.
I'm having fun dyeing, can you tell? I like this stuff.
Oh, wait. Can you tell? Do you see all this yarn? This is all the yarn she's dyed over the past few days. And first of all, can I just say I love the skein? Are we allowed to talk about the yarn? Okay, because I love the skein. Look at the skein. It's so crazy.
I am planning to have a shop update this Thursday.
We should say what the date is. Because
I don't know. What's today?
The 12th? Does your thing... Oh, it's the 23rd?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So
I thought it was the 12th. That shows you. I'm behind.
And so today's Monday the 23rd, Tuesday the 24th, Wednesday the 25th, Thursday the 26th at 8 o'clock. I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to have something up there. I'm going to do my best to have them all up there.
Yes.
But there will be one skein. One single.
50 gram?
No, there's two. I mean, it'll be a set. They'll go together.
I pulled that out.
Yeah.
I messed it up.
So there will be Insane Rainbow. I'm getting ready to cast on a monster cow with it.
And see, I have my two skeins of it too that I'm thinking I'm going to make knee-high socks with. There's enough.
So one of these.
Isn't it beautiful? And that's the stuff that you saw in her Insane Rainbow cowl that she knit for her mom.
Except I did that in worsted. This is a little bit different, and it's in fingering. And so, yeah. And I need to cut that little.
That is beautiful.
But I did some fun, beautiful.
Yeah. So this one has oranges and pinks and purples. And
this one.
it's beautiful. I love that one too. That's so my colors with green and blue. And here, hold it really close to the camera because the like resets the lighting in here. Isn't that beautiful? And then this purpley. Okay, so I said I was against purples, but this one is like awesome. I lied.
I think I called that My Little Pony or something like that. I've got a name for that
one. So I walked in and I was like, "What? This is a ridiculous amount of yarn." So she's gonna have fingering weight. She's gonna have alpaca and merino, and she's gonna have this bulky weight. Right? This is bulky.
Yes. And I don't know that I have. I think I've not. Oh, I have one skein of the
beautiful
cashmere. Ooh. And it's the same red that I'm knitting the normal on. So
there's also, I'm just gonna, I love it all. This blue is an awesome.
This.
Obviously,
is
I
like,
love blue.
I might try and sell these as a set. No, that's not the same one. Wait, there's a set of.
I've dug all around. I'm sorry.
Maybe it is. Okay, it is.
Or is it this one?
Nope.
No.
This was fun, and this is one of a kind. This was a mystery jar. It was a mystery jar, and so I wasn't really sure what was exactly in it. I had mixed some stuff up and didn't label it, and so I like, okay, I know it's pretty. I've used it before. I'm gonna just dump it in, and so it started turning it really super dark. I was like, oh, and it's still the water was still like really dark. It's like, I'll add another skein. And so I'm like, okay, well, it's still, and I'm like, oh, let's do a third one for him. So yeah, it's all the same color. Together? I've just added the yarns at different times, letting it soak up and just, so yeah, I was really pleased with that. I might try that again sometime.
So you can make a beautiful big shawl with all three of these, because these are 100 grams each. 100
grams each, 400 yards.
Superwash?
Superwash. It's 80-20.
You know, this would make an awesome color affection. You know, the one I like that. Or, oh, I have 500
I love this
ideas.
darkest color, though. That is just...
It's kind of a tealy.
Yeah.
There. The camera doesn't want to see the right color. It's beautiful. I love it so much.
I have gotten a light box, and so I have a very nice camera. that I don't use very much. And I'm so glad that I never got rid of it, because it makes a huge difference in my pictures, and I like that one too.
This has like little bits of greeny, tealy in it. So her pictures are going to show you what color it really is.
And so the pictures, I've tested it out, and the pictures are coming out perfect. Yay. And so yeah, I'm excited to get some taken and listed up. I can't wait.
So that's misty.etsy.com.
Yes.
You should go there and check it out. And I think we've talked about all of our projects. Yes.
Yeah.
The last thing we wanted to do is okay. Oh, and I'm wearing a shawl. I should tell you guys. I think it's Cladonia. I can't remember. I knit it years ago. I'll have a link in the show notes. It's kind of too scratchy for me to wear around my neck, so I only ever wear it like this, and that's very rarely, but I got it. It was local wool at Imagine It in San Francisco the first time I went to San Francisco, and I knit it up like on the plane, but it's too scratchy to wear against my neck. But I needed the warmth today. It's really cold out there.
Yeah.
So we have a skein of Yarn Love Yarn in Anne Shirley that we are going to give to one participant in our winter sweater knit along.
Yes.
So we had told you to go and share your projects there, and we updated it last time with the I was gonna say last week, but it was like 3 weeks ago with the rules. We are going to each episode until the knit along ends on Easter, April 5th. We're going to give away a skein of yarn, one that one of our friends has sent us, or that Misty has dyed, or that I've spun, or we will find a skein of yarn to give away, or something. I guess we'd also give away books. We talked about that too.
Yeah.
So today we're giving away Anne Shirley in Yarn Love. The colorway is Final Frontier. She sent it because she knows I love Star Trek. We're going to choose one person who shared a picture in our Ravelry group, and we did that before we got started, and the winner is January Yarns. Come on down!
Yay! It was the only person to share pictures. We
yes,
had a lot
other than
of chatter.
us.
Yeah, and so
lots of people have been showing up and talking, but you guys haven't shared your pictures. So go share your pictures on Ravelry, the Winter Sweater Knit Along, and we will draw from one person who's shared their pictures over the next 2 weeks, we'll draw another winner next week. So since she was the only one other than us that shared a picture, she's a definite winner. So if you go and share a picture, you'll not be competing with very many people. So do it. And because a lot of you guys have talked about what you wanted it, but you're not sharing your pictures. You got to share your pictures.
I finally got all my cone yarn wound off, ready to dye. I just have to brave the cold of my garage to go.
for her featherweight,
for my featherweight,
which will be her winter knit along. I have not yet shared this picture or my that charcoal sweater I'm knitting, so
I did drag my old hero cardigan out and looked at it. That's as far as I got.
Like, and that's it.
I was like, yeah, well, nah, not today.
But January, her name's Sarah. Sarah, you should send your address to you.
Yes.
And she will put it in the mail to you. She's Misty Dot on Ravelry. And just send a little message. And yay, we'll get to email you. Congratulations. And thanks all for talking with us. You talked about your Etsy shop update. Do you mind if I say I have a class that's opening this week called Craft Your Marketing, which is a class where we're going to like dive deep into my book, Market Yourself, which is right here. So I wrote this book in 2012, and since then I have learned lots more about all of it. Still works. Like I didn't go into any specific tool because I knew as soon as I wrote it, like people wouldn't use it anymore, like MySpace or even Flickr, right? So like I don't even think Instagram was around when I wrote this. But so I'm going to, in this class, we're gonna not just work through the book together, but also there will be a new audio lesson every week for 6 weeks, and it's gonna go way more into how to actually put together your marketing plan, how to talk about your work, how to write descriptions in your Etsy shop, what tools to use to share it. Like, do I pick Instagram, Twitter, Facebook? And actually, who is your people and where do you find them? That's the question I get most often. There are worksheets in here to help you figure it out, but I'm going to tell you like what in the past 3 years, is that since 2012? Yeah, that this book has been out. I've had conversations with hundreds of people about how they've put it to use. So that's what I'll be sharing. It's like examples and ideas and like, you could do this. And if you're this kind of person, this will work. So that will be an audio class. It's available at taraswagger.com. I'm super excited. That's what I've been working on like 24/7. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that's available. And I think that's it for us this week. I just ruined everything. Thanks so much for watching.
Yes.
And we will see you on Ravelry. Remember, you can find links to everything we talk about at handmadepodcast.com. So thanks. Bye. Have a great week.